Hey everyone, I am back to talk all things transformational travel. So, in the first video I sent you, we talked a little bit about how I see travel as a catalyst for change and the way that that I've experienced it myself and that my clients have as well. And that's really what I want to share to you. I can tell you, I mean, I think we all kind of intuitively know that travel can change us. But I want to give you some really specifics. So last week I told you about my experience in the Bay of Kotor just floating and how profound that was for me. And now I want to tell you a story about Robin, who's in my current Brave Journey program. So last week we talked about um, one way that travel is a catalyst for change, and that was that it offered space to feel what you need to feel, and that's what happened to me when I was floating in that water. And then I had you guys do that exercise of imagining your extraordinary to start to make space for the things that you want to feel. And so we're going to build on that today. And I'm going to tell you Robin's story on how she did that because she also did the imagining her extraordinary experience. So I wanted to give you a real life example. And so the second way, the thing that I'm going to talk about today on how travel can be a catalyst for change, is that it provides an opportunity for healing and clarity. I've absolutely experienced this and I see it happen over and over again with my clients. And Robin is my favorite story lately. So let's talk about. So, Robin, when she first came to me, she was recently divorced. She was feeling really stuck um, and just kind of like, I don't know, her spirit was heavy, which happens, right? When you get divorced. She was divorced, she was married for decades. And so she came to me and she just felt really stuck. But you can tell, I saw it light up in her eyes when she started talking about travel. She really wanted to go somewhere on her own and experience that, but she wasn't quite sure where to start, and also just needed maybe a community that would help encourage her to move forward. And so she joined the Brave Journey program, and we took Robin's. She did that imagining your extraordinary exercise. And then we talked about it and we looked at that and we identified some of the key feelings that she had in that vision that she had. And so we sussed those out and she came up with three. She wanted to feel peaceful, she wanted to feel confident, and inspired. Um, which three amazing words. So we went to work and I worked with her to talk, to think about, and to consider where are the places that she might go, or also what might she do when she's there that elicits those three feelings: peace, confidence, and inspiration. And Robin was really kind of had been eyeing the south of France as a place to go. And it absolutely aligned with these three things when she started talking about it. I had her tell me, um, it talk me through, an amazing experience in France for her. And she built this like most beautiful picture um, of getting up in the morning and drinking coffee at a cafe and just being able to sit there and read a book and no one needing anything from her. And she could just make that day her own. She could go shopping. She likes antiques and, just seeing history. And so doing that shopping, potentially striking up conversations with people. She's a little bit introverted, but really wanted to feel that confidence of, maybe having a one-on-one conversation with someone on her trip, and also navigating the public transportation. She knew she was gonna have to get there and figure out how to get around, and so that was confidence. So these are all the things that we talked about that she was able to start to think about how she might go back to the south of France. She's been there before, but she wants to go back and make it her own and have her own experience. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for her. She's in the midst of planning it right now, going to be leaving in, I think, a month. Um, but she decided to practice this a little bit, which is something you guys can do because I know we can't all immediately go on a trip, right? But she went to Florida for a weekend. and decided to practice some of this to like what could she do when she was in Florida that would let her feel peaceful and confident and inspired. And so when she was in Florida, she practiced that. She went to the beach. She spent a whole day on the beach alone with a book that she wanted to have. She had told the person that she was with that she was going to do that, and just felt really confident in that experience, that kind of dipping your toe into feeling those feelings. So, what I want you guys to think about, and why I wanted to share Robin's experience, is that it's something that we can do no matter what. Like she sussed out those words, and then she dipped her toe into experiencing them while in Florida, and now she's looking forward to France. So, for you guys. Um, Last week we talked about, in the last video, we talked about narrowing, imagining your extraordinary, going to a place and just thinking about what is the most beautiful trip I can imagine, life even that you can imagine. Um, and so once now that you've done that, what I want you to do is go back and look at it, which is why I had you write it down. You go back and look at it, go back and maybe even reimagine it, refeel it, and narrow down, like think about what you're feeling in those moments and pull out some words, because that's kind of what Robin had done. She imagined herself in France in this cafe and wandering around and, getting around in her, whether she was going to drive her own car or, whatever. And though that's how those words came out, where she was like, oh, I just felt so peaceful and I felt confident and I felt inspired by the beauty around me. So when you go back and look at that extraordinary that you're imagining, I want you to pull out some words. What are some of those words, like Robin did, that I want to experience? And then think about where you might be able to feel these feelings even now. Like for Robin, even though she's been planning this trip for months, but she's been practicing on places like what are ways she can feel peaceful, confident, and inspired even now? How could she have done that when she was in Florida? So I don't know if there might be a way that you could feel those feelings even now, just in your own hometown, or if there's a short trip you could take. Like if you're wanting to feel, like one of my words when I went on my last trip was brave. So if I were home right now and wanted to do that, I would think about like, what could I do for, like, maybe I could just take the day off and do something I've never done before. And that's how I could and get that brave feeling. And in this transformation, and as you do this, um, you start to get some healing and clarity through it. So first of all, I want you to if you have time to sit down and come up with those three words, or 1 to 3, doesn't have to be three, and then go on your own little local trip, whether it's right in your own town or wherever, and snap a picture of it and either share it with a friend. You can always send it to me. I love to see stuff like that. But I think it's so important to kind of just share your excitement and let people see it. And Robin did that when she went to Florida. She came back and told us all about it, and has shown us pictures she's taken that have inspired her. So now Robin is all set to go on her tour of France. She's leaving in, I think, about a month. And now she's really clear on what she's wanting to feel. And in that process, she's already found some healing, in finding out what it is that her soul desires, and some clarity in like what she really wants and things. She's finding herself doing things that she would have never even done already, which is amazing to me and why I love working with women in this program. Because the amazing thing is she's already doing all these things and she's not even gone to France yet. It's so amazing. So I can't wait to have Robin back after she goes to France. But I hope this inspires you a little bit, and also does inspire you in the fact that even that idea of imagining your extraordinary and choosing some of those things you want to feel, you can even do that on short trips around your own area. It doesn't always have to be this massive trip. And so I hope you're able to implement that. I'd love to hear about it. And in the next video I do, we'll talk about the third way that I think travel is a catalyst for change. Um, and that is that it invites you to be curious about what's next, which leads to lasting change. So stay tuned. We'll talk about that one next. Bye for now.